bakery, Lannan, 100%.
Lannan, best pastries you can get.
Lannan. About to meet Darcy, the owner of this place, who opened up about 8 months ago. She designed this place herself. It is a thing of beauty.
Tell me about Lannan. What is it?
So we're a bakery focusing on lamb.
Idle as it seemed, trudging through the mist, following the creeks, erasing the...
Ik had voor je komst een aardewerk pot gekocht. Een beroemde Schotse marmelade. Ik had hem alleen leeg. De pot was heel geschikt als bierpul, zeer stabiel. Dus geschikt om naast mijn bed te zitten.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la.
Now when the MCs came, live out the name. To perform, some had to short coat to act insane. Before he rocked it on, now on the mental plane. Let's walk the brain.
I saw these pack of guys and they act real hard.
And what they do?
They twist their finger, say you know who we are. He said, I don't give a f***, then Snoop Doggy Dogg. They keep talking and it went too far. So Snoopy, he went straight to the...
There's absolutely no chance Trump will get in, but there's a wee tiny part of me that just wants to see what will happen if he does. I'm the same. It's not a tiny part. It's a big part.
Are you on this wee Feel Good Friday? The weekend's here. Have a wee cracker. This tune has been Nas and Leo Wood. Released today. Nas is one of my...
I think that says it, you know, dream bigger than a black woman president committing genocide, and it's a fair point, you know. I watched an interview with some guy talking about AIPAC, and it was that Middle East eye. I wonder if I can find it on Instagram quickly.
And no matter what Israel does in Gaza, no matter what Israel does to the Palestinians, the United States will support it unconditionally. And there is nothing Kamala Harris has said or done to lead one to think that she will change our policy toward Israel and toward the Middle East in any meaningful way. And of course, Trump has made it clear that he's going to continue to support Israel no matter what.
a business when them a fuss and fight. We no care what them a fuss and fight. Look how much time we tell them say fi unite. Man I go down them in the day. The whole of them a cuss against them one another.
This band had their first hit in the UK, top 10 with Big Fan. They're here to do the follow-up. They're great. They're called Inner City, and here they are with Good Life.
There acting like y'all never seen nothing, y'all ain't checked the news. Check online. There's 200,000 people that died. And y'all all sitting there trying to intimidate the people that's speaking up. Y'all can't even say that they see it.
How is it the man that can build the house has nothing, but the man that sells insurance has a yacht? How is it the people that pave the very roads that get you to work can't pay their rent, but somebody that holds your money for you so it doesn't get lost or stolen owns 5 mansions? How is that? How is the people of the world that really do shit, really make shit, really live shit, they're all poor, broke-ass motherfuckers, while the people that sell insurance, something that does not even exist in reality, they got
that's never happened in my entire life. Maybe my body could do that.
Looks like it's going to be a great day today to get some fresh air like a stray on a straightaway. Hey you, got a light? Nah, a Bud Light. Early in the morning, face crud from like a mud fight. Looky here, it's just the way the cookie tear. Prepare to get hurt and
for Sheila Gilmore is a vote for genocide. So if you live in Collington or Fairmill Head or South Edinburgh and you vote for this woman here, you're voting for the murder of Palestinians and the genocide of the Palestinian people.
voices of despair. In the silence, hear the sound of profit margins spinning around. The cure is lost, the disease is found in the depths where truths are drowned. Pills and shadows line the wall, distant voices through the halls, cold and clinical their calls. Control, it rises and it falls. And we dance in isolation underneath their regulation. Pills that bring no salvation, farmers' cold, cold creation. We dance alone in empty streets, under their gaze to a silent beat. Pills that promise but deceive, big pharma's cold hand we can relieve. Make America healthy again. A new dawn has begun. A new dawn has begun.
A new dawn has begun.
Good morning, comrades. How are we all on this marvellous Monday? Have you all had a fine weekend of haggis shagging? You've all been reciting your burns, eh? Rabbi Burns. What a load of shite, eh? It's not all shite, but a lot of shite. Anyway, well, wait a minute. I'll be with you in just a minute. Good morning to. We've got a fun, full-packed chat room here. Give me 1 second. To just you shush there, pal. Well, I found out something interesting about my ex live streams. Well, I'll tell you about it another time. Let's have a wee look and see who's with us. Wait, I've got a text message from. Congratulations! It's I hate these over familiar messages from the bank where they're like, "It's time to pay money." Right, Gregor McIntosh. off to a flyer, Gregor. So click it in. Not a fan of the AI image as a thumbnail. Good morning to you as well, Gregor. Morning, Matty Ross. Kit Kats, my favourite Monday morning support group. Modern Guy. Jimmy McRae, how you doing, pal? Raj1, morning Rockets. Good morning, Arpignon. Not calling everyone Rockets, by the way, are you? Did he try and get out of it now? Too late for that. Another 7 hours. Did you enjoy that? I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was quite funny. It was unplanned. Nothing is ever particularly planned here anyway, but that was particularly unplanned. But it was well attended, and what can I say? But respect to the cats that stayed with us. There was quite a lot of folk. I think there was some people were with us the whole time. So that's quite cool. And it was good to see so many new voices and faces appear on the X stream. Morning Discontented Massive, loved the Friday marathon. It was good, eh? You know, I went up to I get my wee egg roll and my coffee and that in the morning and talked to the lasses in the roll shop, and they were like, as soon as I walked in, they were like, what a load of shite that was, eh? Where's my Friday's take-ins? I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, the storm. They were like, a bit of wind in that, eh? Fucking Karen was going, they're just trying to control everybody after COVID and that. And I mean, it's like, listen, let's just be honest about this, right? It's just true. I know a lot of people. I put a poll up in that. I'll have a look at it in a minute. And I get it, right? There was some strong wind somewhere, but it was much more about like, wow, brilliant. This gives us an excuse. Push the button. Push the emergency. It's the end of the world. It's a bit of fucking wind and rain. Honestly, what have we allowed ourselves to become? We've become I don't want to get into it. I'll start sounding like a right-winger. Bunch of bloody snowflakes. Morning, Doreen. Stunning video. What a video that is, eh? That's by the genius, the mastermind himself, Norman Harmon. And, you see a lot of AI getting used, in strange, in pretty lame ways. Like this, for example. But then you get a master of the craft like Moshe Harman, and he makes something like that. It just shows you it's just going to get better. It's just going to get there's all these arguments, and I think it's going to be an unfolding and continual debate. Yes, it scrapes. Yes, it's it's mining other material and what have you. But I think it poses really important. I think it's really quite interesting actually. I haven't really given it loads of thought, but I'd quite like to give it a lot of thought. But I think there's something to be said. You'll know that I'm always battering on about culture is not your friend and all this kind of stuff. And it's quite interesting because I noticed that yesterday there was a big hoo-ha because the Chinese, is it DeepSeek? The Chinese have released an AI model that's 50 times more powerful than ChatGPT, and who is it that does the ChatGPT stuff? I can't remember what they're called, but they it's open source now. It's open source, and it's super powerful. And I think that there's something to be said about it's almost like, we go on about this notion of culture is not your friend, of capital being the dominant form of redistributing culture to us, which appropriates it, repackages it, sells it back. Suddenly, artists have the ability to command imagery and ideas that were previously, up until just a matter of months ago, completely impossible to bring into your palette. So I don't know. As a filmmaker, as an artist myself, I find it pretty innovative and exciting, and I'm noticing other artists are using it in ways that are, very, very arresting, stimulating imagery, powerful imagery. Will that, when you look at it, part of you goes like, there's AI involved here or what have you, to a large extent, obviously, but we must recognise the value of the individual artist and the ability and the decision making of the artist. I think that's perhaps one of the most key components here. Whatever you're using. Anyway, we can get onto that another time. But I think it's an interesting debate, and I think it's going to continue. Where are we? Doreen Milne. Morning, Doreen. Remember to click the like. I do remember to click the like. See, I know I've learned some new stuff over the weekend, and let's just say it was very enlightening. Very, very, very enlightening. Some very enlightening information was available to me that I was previously unaware of. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting information. Hi to all the lurkers. I hope you're enjoying today's What the X. Anyway, James Craig Page. Good morning, one and all. Oh, there's a raft of Macapella. Morning. Morning, Bob and the Bobettes. I'm going to have to start a garage band, haven't I? Still coming down from Friday. Not a fan of the AI. It was Gregor straight in. Gregor, great to have you with us. Morning to you. Good morning. I've had no electricity since 1:30 on Friday, sitting outside listening because I can't get a signal in the house. No chat on X today. I don't know. Is there anybody there? Nobody speaking. I don't know. Didn't be shy. What is it? 51 people on X. Who knows? Morning. Liked. Right, well there we go. A nice array of heads. So what's been happening? Does anybody want to share? Any weekend, any particular weekend excitement? How light or heavy do we want to make today? How light or heavy do we want today to be? Was there much Burnsing? Did everybody have a wee bit of haggis in that? I seen a funny TikTok and I should have downloaded it. I'll do it the next time. But it was like some young guy going, I can't even ask for all this Robert Burns shit.
He's basically slagging all the sort of, you know, the goody like the state-funded, the culture state-funded Burns people and that, like, you know, the good boys and girls, that that affected guy, you know, they folk. On the AI thing, it's coming a lot faster than people realise. A lot of jobs are going to go. Chilled vibes. Overdid it on the bucket. It's weird stuff. I knew a guy years ago, I think he lived in Kilmarnock, and wherever it was, the boozer that they had bucket on tap, apparently. Burns Night was cancelled due to weather here. Have no problem with AI so long as it's used to support your work and process, but not to do all the work. You ain't Scorsese by entering a prompt. Yeah, that's very true. And I think that it's also going to kind of like, you know, I think it's going to. That's an interesting question. But you could be Scorsese if you entered the prompt, and you had exactly as you're saying, Matty. If you needed to do something, and definitely I'll be using it a lot. But most artists will. I think that's the thing. I think it's. I think it's quite intriguing. It's kind of, there's a novelty element to it to a certain extent. Ecop W. Who's on here? W. I don't mind. Hold on a minute. I don't mind Burns, and I like haggis. But Burns Night is just an annual Scottish cosplay. I think that's probably quite a lot of truth in that, isn't there? There are good events, obviously. I know that Mark McGee was doing something down in Dumfries and that looked like the Big Burns Supper. But that is like the main one. I was at that years ago. I was at that 20 odd years ago. Pete Doherty and that were there. I mind hanging out with Pete Doherty and a bunch of folk. It was with Russell and the Bumcocks and that where we were down there, and it was a good night. Who else played that night? Was Finlay there? I think Finlay was there. I can't mind, but it was a good night. I mind it. But that's been going forever, eh? And it's in the hood. It's in the actual. It's in his fucking where he was from, eh? Was it Mauchline or something like that he was from? Anyway, hold on. I use AI for lots of things. I'm a creative person, so in some cases I use it as an idea generator. It's really powerful in that respect. I also use it for creating lesson plans, planning documents, and other various materials I need for work and life. It saves me loads of time. Yeah, there's loads of things. There are loads of. You don't get your wee ChatGPT assistant, you're missing a trick. As it gets better, you could easily be Scorsese in the future. Surely, as an artist, you would still get better results than non-artists. I think so. I think that's maybe an argument. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I think it's about, you know, obviously a lot of the, there's an argument, a strong argument about copyright. I liked what Katrina Grant said to me a few months ago. She said, you know, it's like, it's important because it's scraping. continually. It's important to kind of always be. I mean, it's like if we're going to be at its mercy, we should also populate as much as possible with the alternative. Because obviously a lot of the stuff that it scrapes is, well, that's the thing. A lot of what it's able to up until now, I don't know, maybe this Chinese thing is going to change it. But it was clear that in some ways it was exposing the sort of narrow, regurgitated, repetitive nature of hyper-consumerism, because it was like a lot of the same stuff, you know, and you're going like, well, this is a sort of an example of the shallowness of homogenised hyper-capitalist culture. IMHO. Haggis with steak. I like the heterogeneous nature of the dialogue discussion on What the X, you know. We've gone from philosophizing on the future of AI to haggis with steak pie beside. It was amazing. I don't know if I've ever actually had that. Haggis and steak pie. It's kind of like one or the other, right? The AI we get to play with is fun. But the AI Larry Ellison wants is pure Skynet. Yeah, I think that's true. AI is like sampling music in some ways. At least anybody can sample something, but not everyone can produce something like introducing. True. I think it does do that. I'm enjoying this. A bit like introducing. Extra metaphorical. Okay, let's try and 25 minutes past 10. Look at that. We're a way of the way through. Agreed. Grifters will still grift, AI or not. I mean, let's face it. You know what? Like, you know, if you're an artist, or if you're, you know, you're always prone to having people kind of like, you know, lifting your ideas or part of your what you're about. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it's been going on anyway. It's just kind of happens on a different level with AI, doesn't it? It's how you take command of that yourself. Anyway, the point is that this was all spurred by probably my favourite artist in Scotland, which is Norman Harman, which is and from his video there that we started off with. So it's a good, it's certainly a conversation starter. That's for sure. Right, let's move into the Momentigo. I'll be back in 1 secondo.
Make them want talk. I just rumor them a spread. None of them boy they can't get in on me head. None of them girl they can't get in on me head. Tell me light like feather but we heavy like lead. So you open up your mouth, you better think with your head. The wrong thing said they would have called bloodshed. In our office you know innocent man and up dead. Time to put the whole thing to bed. Peace and love and unity inside right now. I'm on the real look because the youth them want fed. That is categories are one step ahead. Rasta na me heart even though me have no dread. Come and say talk. Make them go talk. I just rumor them a spread. Talk. Make them go talk. I just rumor them a make me know. Change up your ways and clean up your act. Rock 'em up in pandemic, come and me no outfit. Me no dance, me no food, them me no eat ya. Tell them to the food, me no dance to the food, and me no eat ya. Smell up na me face and stab in na me back. They like them, no know that we can see through that. Tell them cool and just fat and relax. Change up your ways and yeah. How you doing, Marcel? Yeah, man, thank you very much. It's a long time, and me, original Dennis Scotty.
I'm Craig, Mungo Hi-Fi, enough respect, man. Over there, Ben Angel, Edinburgh, Dub Club, big up on yourself, yeah? One love, peace.
Okay, that was actually Saturday night. We went to Mungo's Hi-Fi at La Belle, which was a good vibe. Daddy Scotty on the mic there. And so that was a fun sub-bass evening. And it's quite interesting. I met some boy who was like, I fucking love the gentrification of Leith. It's like, they were. He says, I follow you on the socials. I didn't agree with everything you say. I was like, hey boy, I went to Leith Walk Primary School. Actually, he didn't speak like that, but he was like, hey, respect yourself, bro. Where do we exchanging that? And then I said something else, he was like, actually, that's true. I was like, sorry, you know. Anyway, let's have a look at what was annoying me, because if anybody's got a Fire Stick, went round to Scotty's and it was like every time he played a YouTube video, like every single YouTube video that he played with the same advert, right? And it really began to annoy me. And this was the advert. Hold on a second though. This is steak pie. What's with the culinary? The Monday menu? Steak pie and coleslaw is a game changer. You reckon? Norman is such a sight. Can you post a link for the interview you did with him, bud? That was class. It's on my Patreon, but I will post it. Do you mean the pathogen culture little doc that we made? Yes, I can. I will. I shall. Right, this is the video. Hold on, we'll go over here. I'll play the video, right? Oh, I stuck it in here. All right, I'll play it. Let's see everybody. Is everybody excited about it? Let's see if it makes you feel excited. Didn't make me feel excited.
Edinburgh isn't just a city we serve, it's the place we call home.
If you are looking for a move, then one of the areas you might consider is the south side.
Bronzefield is perfect for families and young professionals. In this area, you can enjoy open green spaces and beautiful views.
Our research tells us that buyers come from all over the world to live here, and those that do, stay.
And we understand why, from family homes to modern flats.
My team and I at Savills can help you move.
We're building cities now for people to invest in, not building cities for people to live in.
Right, so every time, but it was on his telly. It was on his telly, right? So every time, Bronzefield is great. Have you considered the south side? Edinburgh is great. It's the most great place now that we've cleared it out of all the riffraff. People used to live here. Yeah, that ad did bust me. It was like fucking Jimmy Savills. It's kind of weird, you know. It's like it's kind of relentless now. You know, they're going to build the. You know, I was making a big fuss about it because the hidden twats went and put their party in the Scottish Widows building, but C20 said one of the most important modern architecture buildings in the world, which it is. And it could have been like the best place, right? It could have been like it could have literally been like the centre for the arts in Scotland, right? Underneath Arthur's Seat, in Edinburgh, Festival City, phenomenal building, huge potential, these beautiful gardens at the back, right? It could have been the most incredible place to centre Scottish arts, and instead they flogged it to a Bill Gates property company, and they're going to demolish most of it and turn it into luxury flats. And that's the council. That's our council that have let that happen. So, you know, I don't know, man. I'm getting to the end of my tether with this town. Like, this town ain't what it used to be, and it's a sad state of affairs. It is a sad state of affairs. Don't you just love estate agents? The thing is, right, see, even in that advert, there's a slight unease about them. You can tell that they ken that they're at it. And I tell you an interesting thing. I'm going to play it on What the X soon. It's on my other laptop. When the lockdown was on, I joined an online seminar that Savills and Knight Frank were running. I applied with a triple-barreled name, like, you know, Humphrey Jeffress Jones or something like that, like, you know. I can't mind what I called myself. Anyway, they gave me a pass, and I recorded the seminar. Of course I did. And they were talking. It was like a sort of it was like a sex line. It was like they were all involved. It was like they were all masturbating. They were basically going like, if things continue as they are, they were going like they were kind of like all kind of collectively going like, we've got clients that buy on spec. They don't even look at the properties in the new town. We've got international clients and people in China and stuff that just basically a property comes onto the market, we sell it in the same day. And then you had like the wee guy, probably one of those guys in the videos going, yes, it's predicted that Edinburgh, if it continues in this form, it's going to be like Milan. He actually says this, right? It's going to be like Milan. So these parasitic, predatory property developers and, you know, heavyweight, like wealthy estate agent cats, they're obviously instrumental in what's happened to their town. And we've got a political class and a councillor class or whatever that are, that's who they're supine to. That's who they're involved in, you know, feathering the nests off. That's who the decisions are being made in the interests of, these people. The Jimmy Savills. Jimmy Savills estate agents. Get your house for Jimmy Savills. Waverley Valley. I did my own wee version of it. Here it's here. What do you think? This is what folk in China are buying into. Paul Lawrence's Edinburgh. Good, eh? What has happened to my tune? What's happened, old Edina? There's not a single soul. There's like 100 people in the X chat. Nobody's chatting. They bother. Stay here on hanging that, eh? I'm not bothered. Where we at? Okay, I noticed something else. It was kind of in keeping with it. Trending Edinburgh. What now? Okay, right. So there was Gregor. I did paint it last night. I got my watercolours out. I thought I'll just paint an image for a diner. I'll paint it. So there was good morning. McMurray Massive. Heads up to the McMurray Massive in the house. Morning to you. Nice Edinburgh mashup. So, I know that some people. Well, what was it I said? Where was my right? First of all, let's one thing at a time, right? So the Royal Botanic Garden said, storm warning has caused severe damage at Edinburgh. 15 trees have been lost, either uprooted or damaged beyond recovery. This includes the garden's tallest tree, the 29-metre Cedrus deodara, planted in 1859. The chat is turned off, is it? Well, I never realised. Well, if you're trying to say something, I've turned your chat off. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Look at that. There's always something. You couldn't. Right, okay, no bother. Right, but we'll turn it on next time. I don't think I can do it now. I don't think it's. I don't think that's possible. Can I do that? I'll try. So we lost a tree. We lost the oldest, tallest tree in the Botanics. And that, I suppose that's a shame, right? I accept. I like the Botanics. Who doesn't like the Botanics, right? Everybody likes Botanics. But the thing about it is, but for the most part, I think people felt that that it was an overreaction to use the what do you call it? No, I cannot. I can't set the chat. I didn't realise. Right, I've set. It's my fault. Okay. I can't set the chat to work. So you'll need to come over to YouTube if you want to leave a comment. So we've lost this tree, which is a shame. Trees, things happen. What happened to that? Trees, things happen indeed. The alarm was a load of nonsense, wasn't it? The alarm was an expression of our perverted political class or control freakery, social control perverts, the perverts of social control. There's just no two ways about it, right? It was bad wind, right? And it could have been like, you know, but they could have told us as well. They could have went, by the way, right, boom, there's going to be some heavyweight wind. And you try to tell me they don't have the technology to tell you exactly where that wind is going to happen. It's like, they know exactly where the wind was going to happen, right? So we now have to accept that perverted professional managerial class adepticons who are elected on a tiny percentage of an actual fucking apathetic electorate want to wake you up at night and wake you up in the early morning because they're perverts. John Swinney is a pervert. Keir Starmer is a pervert. They're all perverts, right? They're all psychotic, self-involved, sociopathic, narcissistic perverts. There's not one redeemable, they do not have so much as a single redeemable atom in their existence. They're part and parcel of a corrupt system that sanctions the murder and destruction of all things and everything, which is neoliberal capitalism. And you have to reject it, you have to emancipate, you have to liberate your consciousness and escape from the clutches of these pathetic perverts who are going to condescend you and patronise you like a school child, right? Yes, a 19-year-old died when a tree fell on his car in Fife. Here's the thing that happens, right? People get run over, people die, people fall. I know a woman whose auntie died because she tried to put both her feet down the same types at the top of the stairs and she broke her neck, right? fucking shit happens, right? Trees fall on people, fucking, like, things happen, right? Wind, rain, weather, oil on the roads, you know? Stuff happens, okay? Life is problematic and, you know, there are perils to existence. I don't need some jumped up political class fuck waking me up in the morning with an emergency alarm on my social control device, right? Is it my fault for having one? Probably it is, but then how else would I do what the X? Right? Aye, defo Bob. Aye, those alarms. Sad to see a lovely tree be destroyed. I agree with that. So let's have a look and see, right, what Edinburgh Council have done next, right? Because this actually did annoy me. What's the Turvelator saying? Fear and loathing on the ScotRail Express. For the Herald Scotland new rail series on the right track, I commute at rush hour on the flagship Edinburgh to Glasgow service. Read on for reflections on peak fares, catering trolleys and lessons on train etiquette. Alright, well I will read that later on, Donald. Zionist propaganda is quite a thing, isn't it? It's, you know. But it did make for a cracking show, alright, fair play. The quality of what the X is determined on the weather, fair play. Where is it that I go to? I go to here. Profile. No. Bookmarks. This, right? So I haven't looked at it. I'll look at it later on, right? Apparently they've tarmacked the whole of Frederick Street. That ain't right. Edinburgh residents fume at decision to asphalt historic city centre streets. It's true, man. Why are you fucking with it, right? Let's have a look. Why would you tarmac over the sets? Why would you do that? So let's get this straight, right? You're going to build a Pride Bridge for millions of quid. I mean, I'm not an absolute sucker for heritage or that, but how did it look back in the day? Let's go and check out the prospect for a city.
A land violently
Let me have a look.
into volcanic hills.
I ken I'm not on the screen.
A castle has stood for
In fact, I could
1,000
be.
years.
But hold on a minute. Just wait a wee second. How do I do this? What's that? Let me have a look here. How is it there? It is, right, okay, here we go. Right. What was it like back in the day? The new town. There, was it? They're all cobbles. right? All cobbles. Can't really see it very well there. It's always been cobbles. Not anymore. Not in Paul Lawrence's Edinburgh. Aye. It was between Queen Street. Friday was a great show. Aye, it was good. It was a good laugh. They covered a lot of bases, didn't they? Look out, these publications are almost impossible to read, aren't they? Let's see what Iona Fife is in here. Someone who made a post claiming that the storm alert was overdramatic and nanny state and that the people who sent out the alert were a bunch of idiots has now posted that their home has been damaged. People have lost their lives. A red alert doesn't get issued lightly. It would serve us all to consider the validity of the narrative we are propagating. What is with these bedwetters? What is with this strange sort of class of absolute obsequious gimps that seem to have just... I know this girl is a strange girl. She's a singer, but she's also you know, very much wedded to this sort of like the conventional apparatus of the professional managerial class, the neoliberal state. You know, she doesn't have any politics at all. She thinks she's political. She's got the political acumen of a teapot. You know, in fact, a teapot would have more political acumen. People have died. No, I disagree. I disagree. I think that they have the ability to tell us where the storms were at their most dangerous or where it was most problematic, and the rest of it was a complete overreaction. And the alarm thing was crazy as well. You know, that was some mad thing going on. You know, it's like what? The whole country like in a state of anxiety, like this weather alert and that. It's like, nah, man, they're taking the piss. They're teeing us up for something else. They're teeing us up for something else. It's not just weather. Well, what is it? It was. Morning, Rebecca. I just can't be bothered with all this kind of like, you know, what's happened to us? You know, what happened before? I mean, what people aren't really... I think what's... the thing that's kind of annoying me about it a bit is that you know, we never had smartphones. This is a recent phenomenon, and it's almost like there's no sort of analysis about the fact that without the intrusion of these devices, without the sort of availability that we have to them, none of this information would have been able to be in our consciousness. It would have, you know, there would have just been like, be careful, there's heavyweight weather on the way. If you stay in these places, then be very, very vigilant. Everywhere else, be careful, right? That's how it would have been. I don't think any more people would or wouldn't have died. Do you know what I mean? I think that like still shit's going to happen, you know? So this idea that the whole place in your house locked down, I mean, it was honestly, man, it's like we've allowed ourselves to be massively conditioned, and it's completely and utterly perverted, right? We're being manipulated, coerced and insulted, patronised and condescended by fucking perverts, right? Mentally deranged, psychotic, professional managerial class fuckheads, alright? They don't deserve any respect, and I tell you what they fucking absolutely do not 100% deserve is your vote. If you go out there and put an X in their box, more fool you, alright? You are part of the problem. Yes, Stuart McGregor, it is just another fear tactic. It is 100% fear tactic, right? I don't care. It is a tragedy that people have died. I genuinely sympathise with those who have lost people, or people who have been injured, or people who have had their property damaged. But you're not going to stop the weather. It was still going to happen. And for most of us, and everybody that I've spoke to over the weekend, in fact, every single person I've spoke to over the weekend has went, apart from a few places we go, it was pretty windy. Like, yeah, there was a period of like intense wind. But this big high alert, emergency, like, you know what I mean? What a load of nonsense. IMHO. It's Not Real is still murdering and killing. Yeah, that's a decent one. Jimmy McRae. I'm just glad I wasn't bopping about on a boat in the Firth of Forth on Friday. Feck me, I'd have been spewing. Apart from that, totally agree with your analysis on the culture of fear, yes. Amazing, yeah, it was really guess what? It was windy in places, that's correct, yes. it's like, what is this revelation? Folkwell Rock, it was in Lidl at 9 PM as usual to get some bread, and there was none left. The place was rammed. All this panic buying that went on as well, because of the paedophiles in government telling everybody to be fucking terrified. Do you know what I mean? Honestly. Glenn Miller. I spent over 2 months in hospital recently. I lost loads of weight, partly because of what was wrong with me, and partly because hospital food was repulsive. This was a Sunday roast. It's no great, it has to be, we have to say. It's terrible what Trump was saying, you know, about moving the people to Israel, to Egypt and whatnot, yeah? The way they're talking about these people. What's going on here? Yeah, I noticed that there's a huge, these are Gazans trying to return to Gaza City. You cannot but admire the resolve of these people. Why would you not be that, right? I mean, let's say we're in Scotland, right? And then we've been like, nah, you only get to fuck, blow everything up, boom, boom, boom. You're going to go back. Like, nah, that's where I live, I'm going back there. And that's what's brilliant, you know what I mean? They're going back, and of course they would. That's where they're from. That's their land. And they've every right to go there. And the whole world that understands what justice is should be on the side of these people. I won't hear anything other than that. What's Matt Kennard said? Gaza is the front line in the defence of civilization and humanity, correct. It refused to be crushed under the weight of 3 nuclear-armed powers who threw everything they have at them for 15 months. Its victory is a victory for freedom-loving people everywhere. We owe them. They lead. Agreed. Yes, he does. The guy's a teapot, man. The guy's a raj. What's Mark Hurst saying? Trump's enthusiasm for full-on unabashed ethnic cleansing in occupied Palestine, his imperialist ambitions to take over Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal are all symptomatic of the West's terminal decline. I would agree with Mark with that. US population is around 5. See, this is the thing, right? This is the absolute crumbling of neoliberal capitalism. And it may well be the Middle East, it may well be Gaza that is the turning point. We are literally in the arse end, the fall of empire. We are in the descent. We are circling the drain. And unless we do something as a even if it was Scotland, for example, unless Scotland tries to do something, all these Scottish nationalists, right? Scotland, independence, all the rest of it. The most important thing that genuinely true adherents to Scottish independence could do, that genuinely want Scottish sovereignty, the most important thing that they could do is detach themselves entirely from the Scottish National Party. The Scottish National Party is a complete foil. It's an institution of the British establishment. That you will never achieve independence via the SNP. Anybody that believes so is deeply misinformed, delusional, or or otherwise. It's impossible. You will never ever achieve anything close to independence. I noticed that Bella Caledonia put a thing there about the union because Mike saw the a polling thing out there. He's going, we're going to get a raft of SNP votes in the next. He's there flying the flag for his little sort of bourgeois nationalist masters again. You know what I mean? These people are finished. These people have said their piece. They don't have anything to contribute to the future debate of what might happen with this country. They're redundant. Their ideas are redundant. Their manifesto of what they expect is redundant. The SNP is a redundant force in the fight for Scottish sovereignty. If you want Scottish sovereignty, you have to do something genuinely interesting that undermines those that seek to hold power over you now, even under Scotland. Very, very important to look at what's happening at Gaza, see what's happening with imperialism, see what's happening with neoliberal capitalism, and recognise it. You either detach yourself from the ideology of that, or you're just going to get swept down the drain with the rest of it. So, maybe Scotland should be saying we want to join BRICS. We want to be part of BRICS or something. We want some sort of sovereign movement. But the biggest obstacle to Scottish independence in Scotland is the Scottish National Party, and anybody who hasn't clicked about that, it's a shame. You're completely and utterly being led down the garden path by these people. Have Savile shown up there in Gaza? Yeah, only a matter of time. I am fully dedicated to independence, totally agree about the SNP. Tartan Curtain Twitchers. 100% Scottish support Scottish independence, and yes, the SNP aren't going to do shit. Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up. I'm glad we've got that. We understand that. Yes, Scotland should be in BRICS. Well, let's get Scotland in BRICS then. Let's have a movement for Scotland to be in BRICS, okay? And let's recognise, that there has to be genuinely it's right there for the taking, right? What did the Scottish Independence Project lack? It lacked politics. There is no politics and there never was. Maybe back in the day a bit or whatever, but this latter period or whatever, there is no politics, okay? Even I was seduced a little bit back in the day by what was going on. I was opposed in principle about certain factors, and then a few people I was round about the time. It's no coincidence that I was still a raging alky at that time. But it's in sobriety, in vino veritas. I'm not sure about that. My experience has been quite the opposite. It's true, we have to recognise you have to emancipate yourself from this neoliberal monopoly and the complete distraction, the performative distraction. Look at this, you've got that. John Swinney demonstrated himself as an abject failure 20 years ago, and this is the guy that's come back to lead us where? He's going to lead us absolutely fucking nowhere. He's going to lead us less than nowhere. Swinney, I said to somebody the other day, imagine Swinney had actually been the guy. Whatever people say about Alex Salmond, I think is worthy of criticising Salmond for certain things. There's also many things, within the context of geopolitics and stuff that people are reminding me. What we find ourselves swept up. We find ourselves swept up in in the noise, okay? And we forget, maybe, you know, it's like there are certain things that Salmond did that were very principled, you know? When the television station was bombed in the Serbia conflict and stuff, you know, Salmond was very principled about that. He was very principled about Iraq. And so there was definitely aspects to him as an individual that there was integrity to some of his political and philosophical positions without question. And I think that, like, I definitely respected that aspect of him. Was he the ideal? He was never a class champion. He was never somebody that, you know, he came from the banking industry. Do you know what I mean? But within the context of liberalism, within the neoliberal era or something, you know, there were many things about him that, on reflection, are well worth recognising. That, you know, he had a very principled stance on a lot of these things, and you know, we should remember that. Perhaps, you know, it's like the man was flawed, of course, but you know, how many others? The question, I think, to say about, for example, imagine that Swinney had been the guy that was advancing the independence referendum in 2012, the vote would have went down from 20%. You know, remember the vote started off at 20%, and that's the thing. I noticed Beldams appeared to us. SNP would sell Scotland with the cheery kind of videos that Savills have put on. Everything would be wrapped in tartan wrapping and paper sold. Well, it's already been done that way, because if you look at the Minister for Genocide, the imposter for culture, Robertson, every day at the minute on. In fact, we can go and look. He keeps promoting this brand Scotland. The radical independence movement that pushed the SNP left for a wee bit before that, the moniker of Tartan Tories was deserved. I kind of agree with that a bit, but I think that also. Hold on, let me just actually finish what Mark Hurst was saying, because I'll get on to that point. How are we doing for time? I might manage a few more minutes. US population is around 5% of the world. Countries representing 57% of the world's population have signed up to BRICS. That will ultimately circumvent US economic disproportional dominance and lead to a fairer, more equitable globe. America will respond as it is the #1 gangster state with predictable violence, but the decline is inevitable. Know your enemy and choose your friend wisely. The West is toast. I know this guy Mark Hurst, I'll follow him. I agree with that. I think that's absolutely 100%. Great deal of truth in what he's written there. Freeport's our disgrace, Gregor, yes. Rob, what's he saying? What's the Minister of Genocide saying? So you'll notice that this is his whole thing, Scotland.org, and it's all this really hackneyed, utter shit, basically iterations of that Savile advert, flogging the city to international capital, flogging Edinburgh, flogging Scotland, you know. And that's all these people are interested in, because they're class prejudice. I know Angus Robertson, I've seen him about, I know his brother and that, I've seen him, it's like, I know these his brothers actually sound, but it's like these people are snobby, posh, class prejudice bastards. They're just complete, they're not interested, they're arrogant as fuck. They don't have any interest in improving the lives of people who have been here for a long time. They want Edinburgh washed out of all its nuance. They just want international capital in here, professional middle classes. We saw this at the weekend with we were slagging them off, weren't we? The critical mass, they call themselves. A bunch of middle class people get on bicycles and try to tell us that, you know, this is why we need to have these people here. Livable Leith. You'll notice that, and it's all the same thing that happens. It's the same focus groups and what have you. The same focus groups that come and like the Friends of Colton Hill, all these type of things. It's like, because they go down there on their bicycles and try to show their powers and numbers and like say, oh look, this is, but none of them, like somebody was saying, like, do you like, they didn't really live in Leith or whatever. Whether you live in Leith or that, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But the point is that it's like this whole thing of livable Leith and stuff, it's like, it's this idea that it's like, why was Leith not livable before? Was there something unlivable about Leith in the past? And it's like, it's about this continual intrusive rebranding of where someone is, or what a place is, or what constitutes it, or what the community is. As soon as people start banding about the term community, it's like that's always a red flag. It's like, what community? Well, it seems to me that the community is now you and your pals who are saying you're the community, but there was people here before you were here, long before you were here, you know? This whole thing, yeah, exactly, you know, this yes, livable Leith, yes, people have lived there for hundreds of years, exactly. But because they've created this group and all the rest of it, and we're advocating, we're lobbying for this and that to make Leith a better, more livable place. Who the fuck for? You and your middle class pals. That's what it's about, and it's insulting. They are the most arrogant people that you could possibly conceive of. They hate to be challenged. They're all the same type of cunt. It's just a fact, you know. And they'll all be fucking there at the film house when it opens and sipping their wine, very pleased with themselves that they've managed to get more public money for their fucking stupid LGBT bridge in their film house. Meanwhile, the kids have got their community centres and we can look forward to more explosions and fireworks night. It's the veneer of a community that they promote. The self-appointed in crowd, absolutely. Jimmy McRae, Mark Hurst is spot on. An independent, neutral, non-NATO Scotland and BRICS would be very welcome. I think so, you know. I think, like, you know, is this not what we want to aspire to? Why, you know, you're letting a political class of paedophiles and perverts ruin the last vestige of society that we've got. Why do people not realise, right? It's like the SNP failed. Where is that Muppet? Where is that absolute teapot? Where is he? I seen him this morning. Where is it? Bella Caledonia? Has he blocked me now? Here we go. What does it says? This is when, like, so it's a stats for lefties. How left is he, like? You know, the most liberal centrist teapot you can imagine, right? This, when you combine with a Farage bad Enoch breakthrough in England, would break the union. What? Because you've got a bunch of SNP, projected SNP votes, because a bunch of the bourgeois electorate are going to vote in the SNP. How's it going to break the union? It's not going to break the union. All it's going to do is keep you writing the same article in the National for the next 400 million years. You know? It's a load of fucking shite. It's a load of absolute fucking shite. And it's time people got a grip of themselves and realised that the people that are disenfranchised, they didn't vote. They're not interested in voting because arseholes like you have monopolised the airspace for far too long. Right? Morning, Bob. Morning, the artist. Scotland and BRICS. Great stuff, Bob. Where's the Ko-fi link? Oh, my Ko-fi link. Aye, all right. Fair play. Thanks to everybody who donated on Friday. Friday was a laugh. I think we're going to try and do a more long form show because I got so many messages from people and they loved it. So I'll pop that in my thing. I'll shove this in here as well for anybody who wants to buy my coffee this morning. I think by livable they may mean less car dependency. Yes, but it's like see a lot of these, like, Ken, what I would like to see, right? I would like to know how many of the fucking critical masses, right? How many of them have got an electric car? Because I'm going to guarantee loads of them. I'm going to guarantee 90% of them have got their own or access to an EV. And they'll be taking that up north at the weekend with their crampons to go and bag a few fucking Monroes. That's what's going on with those cunts. Like children in need, a bit more angry and better music. I also noticed that you had bought me a Un Cafe Belgium, so respect for that. I just have to, if I haven't got round to my thank yous and that, then just bear with me. I will do. It's just me, eh? Right, listen, on that note, it's 11:10, it's Monday morning. I'll be back on Wednesday morning. It was great to see so many. We're still here on What the X, we're still building. Donate on the Ko-fi, join the Patreon, tell your pals, Where's my thing gone? Where is it? Is it here? I've got a lot to get through today. I'm sure all of you have, at work or off to work or whatnot. And I'm going to leave you with, excuse me, I feel excuse me. I'm going to leave you with my favourite band. Are they my favourite band in Scotland? Definitely. There's a few of my favourite bands in Scotland, but DOS are definitely up there. And this is DOS, which is their ode to DF concerts, and it's called, aptly enough, Dirty Fuckers. I'll see you on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Ciao.
Oh man, that was good.